Who are the blue chip talents in the 2025 NFL draft and who might fall? We're breaking that down for you today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins, and we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate you all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase.
Joseph, happy Friday.
Thanks, man. How's Dallas?
It's great. Feels just like home.
Was the flight good? I mean,
I assume so. If you don't see me on Monday, it means the answer is no. Because we're recording on Thursday.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm leaving today, being Friday, for the Shrine for the weekend until Monday afternoon. Then I'm to Mobile. We'll hear there everywhere.
Little tour of the
South.
Sort of, yeah, sort of.
The South, yeah.
Maybe it'll be.
It's Dallas or Denton, Texas, and Mobile, Alabama.
Imagine if you were there this past week and it was like cold and snowy.
Well, I'd be well prepared because I wish it were colder.
Yeah.
Adversity is opportunity.
Oh, God. Here we go. All right. It's Takes on Takes, the weekly episode where you take control of the conversation. We give takes on your takes. Got some fun stuff to get into. We'll start with this one from August, who says one of the top 4 picks of the 2025 NFL draft will be a player not named Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, or Abdul Carter.
One of the top 4?
Yeah.
Yes.
That feels like super chalky. Like right now, whenever you look at a mock draft, it's like those players: Sanders, Ward, Hunter, Carter. So I think obviously taking the field's the right idea, but I think where this conversation could be interesting is who's in and who's out. Any thoughts there?
I could see Mason Graham working his way in. Maybe Will Johnson. Kind of doesn't feel like he has a lot of momentum right now. But he is an elite talent when he's healthy and on the field.
Yeah.
As far as who comes out, you could tell me one of the quarterbacks slides. If the Giants feel like, hey, we're in a win now situation, we need a veteran player. And if Tennessee were to do the thing that the new president of football operations said, which is we wouldn't bypass a generational talent for a quarterback just to take a quarterback. Do they feel like one of these guys is a generational talent?
Yeah, right.
I could see one of the quarterbacks dipping out.
And Cleveland's not a lock to take a quarterback.
I think Cleveland feels more likely like if Kirk Cousins shakes loose.
Yeah.
Add Kirk Cousins for the vet minimum next year in kind of the transition year, and then take Abdul Carter. And, man, that'd be really fun with him and Myles Garrett.
Point being is that you could see the path for a quarterback to slide.
Mm-hmm. I think my mock draft I just had this past week had Travis Hunter at 5.
Yeah. Oh, wow, Travis Hunter. So I was just going to say it feels like Hunter and Carter are the most likely to be picked in the top 4 if you had to.
I think Cam Ward's the most likely to be picked in the top 4.
He's the betting favorite right now for number 1 pick.
He should be.
Yeah.
He's a better quarterback, and they need one. And I think Travis Hunter is a generational two-way player. Do I think he's a generational talent at either spot individually in isolation? I don't know that I would answer that question as yes. But I think he's the best player in the class.
So Mason Graham and Will Johnson, the 2 names that came to the mind there as guys that could make this a correct take. All right, Sam Teets, college guards or offensive tackles playing center at an all-star game when they have no prior experience doesn't offer much value. Those players never actually stick at center in the NFL. The more you can do, the better, but this element doesn't seem to translate.
Do you believe that?
No, I don't. I didn't agree with this.
I don't think I agree with this at all.
Right. I think I was trying to do some inventory in my head of like guys that went and snapped and then didn't. Like, what's Cody Mock did it? Did Cole Strange do it? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And now obviously those guys don't play center in the NFL, but I don't think it hurt them to do that.
Right, because it's more about creating a more universal appeal to more teams.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's why you do it, because there's some teams that might say, hey, we want our guards to be able to do this, and we don't think you do that very well. But you might project better in those offenses to playing center. And if you snap and snap well, now you're maybe ranked in a similar position on more teams' boards and get yourself drafted higher. So for me, it's more about how high can I put myself on as many boards as possible if I'm a prospect.
Yeah.
Because that's the way to guarantee you get drafted
as high as possible.
As high as you possibly can and maximize your initial earning opportunity, in addition to putting yourself in the best position to be successful and then maximize your second income earning opportunity that you have in a couple of years.
Yeah, just because they did it at the Senior Bowl and they don't do it in the NFL doesn't mean that it wasn't a useful part of their
process
resume building.
Yeah.
Weekly huddle coming in hot here. Bo Nix has already hit his ceiling. Thought he was a high floor player in the draft process, that if you got him in a system like the Broncos with Sean Payton, he can max out at QB 18 to QB 14. I really disagree with this. I really do. And I think the example is Baker Mayfield, right? I know you're probably thinking of Bo Nix and 61 college games. Nobody's ever had more going into the NFL. Comes in closer to his ceiling. That was the whole process with Baker Mayfield. Right. I had a conversation with Hugh Jackson, who told me why they picked Baker Mayfield, who said it's because of reps. We couldn't wait for Josh Allen. They decided between Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield. They picked Baker Mayfield because he was closer to his ceiling. And Baker Mayfield is a better player today than he was when he entered the arena for Cleveland and lit up the world and started playing really good as a rookie. I don't think there's any chance that Bo Nix is at his ceiling.
This team also had one wide receiver with more than 41 receptions this year. Like, his cast can get better too. And you can get into whether or not that directly impacts his ceiling and floor as a player. But I think things can be you can create a larger menu of easy things for Bo Nix to execute with better talent around him, which then in turn I think will help elevate him beyond the player that he was. But I do agree he was a very high floor player coming into the league because he had more starts than anybody ever at quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the Parcells thing on steroids. When are you doing that, by the way?
Oh gosh, soon. Hashtag soon.
We probably have to wait till the Bills are done. So probably 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
God, I hope.
Can I get a verbal commitment? We'll do the Bill Parcells thing before the combine.
Yeah, verbal commitment right here.
Okay. The news desk ringing.
Yeah. It's a new bit, huh?
All this race, it'll be done by the end of February.
You have enough conversations. You never know what comes together. Cap says the Jets coach / GM situation will be the best of this cycle.
That's Cap. Get it?
You say false? Yeah, I get it. I see what you did there.
That's Cap, like lingo for untrue.
Are you already because we've already had Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel. Are you already more excited about that, or
no? So how are we defining the best of the group?
I don't know. We'll have to, in 5 years, Cap, let us hit us back up. We'll let you know.
I think there will be other opportunities that I think end up being more successful out of this hiring. I don't think this will be the most successful from a wins and losses perspective.
Yeah.
And some of that's because of just what I think needs to be done and some of the organizational culture barriers that exist with the ownership
100%
group that I just don't have a lot of faith is going to do the next right thing, to quote Frozen 2, and take the step back that's needed to take back.
I love following Mike Clay on X, and he puts some great resources out there. And one that he always puts out is like this chart of all the head coaches, offensive coordinators, defense coordinators, and general managers.
Mm-hmm.
And in part of looking at this chart, and I retweet it a lot.
Isn't it color coded for like how long they've been there?
Yes, and it says the date. And it's such a sobering reminder that for as excited as everybody should be about their new head coach, man, most of these hires don't work, dude. They just don't.
They're lucky to see if all parties involved see year 4.
Right. So more likely than not, I'm sorry, teams that are getting a new head coach, you're going to be back in this spot in 3 or 4 years. Sometimes even sooner.
Sometimes we'll give it a contract extension and then still be back in this.
Right. Like the history is very obvious about what's going to happen here. That's why John Gruden and the
Fired Football Coaches Association or whatever.
Yeah, there's 2 types of coaches: guys that are fired and ones that are
the FFCA. It's a very, very wide-reaching club.
Part of the deal. But all of them, every single one of them, pretty much. All right, we got a lot more to get into on the other side of it, including some Abdul Carter conversation and cornerbacks and wide receivers in this class. So stick with us, folks. It's playoff time, and if you're like me, you want to make the most of these final weeks of football action. That's where PrizePicks comes in. If you love football and want a chance to win real money while watching the games, PrizePicks is the place for you. It's the best way to turn your sports opinions into cash with daily fantasy player projections. With PrizePicks, you simply pick more or less on player stats like total passing yards or rushing touchdowns, and for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your money. You can make your picks in less than 60 seconds. So whether you're looking for a flex play to boost your payout or want to cash out quickly, PrizePicks has got you covered. And with over 10 million members and billions in winnings, it's clear that people are loving this platform. I've been playing for a while now. It's super fun. I'm having a blast. It's easy to use, and I love how fast the payouts are. Seriously, I've gotten paid out in as little as 15 minutes when my picks hit. Plus, the weekly promos like Taco Tuesday discounts add even more value to my lineups. Here's a special offer for Locked On NFL listeners. Download the app today. Use code Locked On NFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today. Use code Locked On NFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game.
I'm ordering tacos. DoorDash.
Gotcha. Well,
you got Taco Tuesday every time you do the PrizePicks where you can talk about Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it when we're done here.
Pull up your board. You might need this. You might need this.
Have it.
Great. I figured you would. Kyle's always got his stuff ready to go. I've seen Kyle Crabbs at all-star events ready to go. Scout reports on the phone. Whoever he comes into, he's ready to talk about it. This comes from Mock Draft Hall of Famer, which, first of all, what a great freaking.
That's you, Mr. Huddle Report champion.
2017's feeling like a long time ago, brother. I've been on
a long time ago, my friend.
Absolute slump lately. We'll keep shooting, though. We'll see what we can do. Mock Draft Hall of Famer says the 10th cornerback in this draft will be drafted before the 10th receiver.
All right, so my 10th cornerback as things currently stand.
Assuming that they're in order of how they'll get drafted.
Yeah, it's Zy Alexander.
You just talked about this guy. He's at the Shrine. Yeah. LSU.
Yeah. He is my 10th ranked corner, around number 70 on the board. Although today is also the day we find out for some of these Ohio State kids if they're coming out. So that may impact this if Igbinosun comes in to the class at corner. I hear cornerback.
That's too close to Igbenogany. You can't draft that guy.
I was just gonna say I hear Igbo and corner and I get
him out.
You're off my board personally. Nothing against you, but I can't do it. So around pick 70 is the 10th corner, and the 10th wide receiver is at 81, and that is Jalen Royals from Utah State. Although some people may have Tez Johnson higher than I do. Savion Williams, I know some people really like. I will say no.
Man, I when you said Royal, I couldn't think about anything other than that song from Lorde. Remember this? Yeah. Welcome to the rest of your day. That'll be in your head.
I thought you were gonna say Eddie Royal.
Oh yeah, little receiver, right?
I thought for sure you were gonna go with the wide receiver analogy.
Bears. No, I went to a song that is a genre of music that I don't really listen to.
Who just made a play in a game this weekend? And I'm like, dang, he's still in the league as a wide receiver.
I think only you can answer that question. Is in the NFL?
Oh, get into the next question. But
all right, the next question.
I'm going to find this though.
Comes from Carter, who has a question about Abdul Carter. That's fun. Did you find it?
No.
All right. The Titans should take Abdul Carter #1 overall. He is a franchise-altering defensive player, and you can live with a bridge quarterback for a year amidst the rebuild.
You'd have a hard time convincing me that it's not a good player to take because he's an outstanding pass rush talent that I think is really only scratching the surface of what he could do as a 3-down player. He plays a premium position. I don't think I'd be mad about this.
Kyle, I'm looking at every single receiver that caught a pass in the divisional round.
It was in I think it was
Jamison Crowder.
No, it was
Anthony Miller.
Anthony
Miller. Yeah,
Anthony Miller.
Yeah, he caught a pass last week. I had the same moment. So I was 1 week early on that, but I had the same thought. I was like, oh, because I think we both liked him. We're like, maybe there's a chance, right?
Yeah,
and
it was like Chicago got their hands on him and ruined him,
right? Just like they did Eddie Royal, right? So
that's right. Don't go Chicago.
So we're both out on. I like Abdul Carter. I think he's going to be a top 5 player on my board, but I don't look at Tennessee and feel like that's the right move. If you're going to pick Abdul Carter, please trade back. You don't have to stick there and pick him.
Cash out and take advantage of somebody that's really hungry in a bad quarterback class if you're going to do that. By the way, Anthony Miller caught his first pass in a game since 2021 with Pittsburgh.
Okay. He did it in the playoffs. He probably doesn't have a regular season catch since then.
No. And he caught one pass in one game for 2 yards for Pittsburgh in 2021, and then had 5 passes for 4.6 yards per catch for Houston in 2021. So last time he caught reasonable amount of balls was in 2020 with the Bears in his 3rd season in the league.
He caught more passes in the divisional round than Amari Cooper and DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
And Marquise Brown.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
And Juju Smith-Schuster. And Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah.
Who are all targeted.
You can keep going.
Jared Wayne and Olamide Zaccheaus. Okay, the next one comes from John, who says the quality of the meat. This is about eating. The quality of the meat matters more than the cook. You can have the best rubber recipe, but the meat is substandard. If the meat is substandard, it won't matter.
No. Have you ever had a well done anything? Has a well done anything ever tasted good?
No.
Or does it taste like eating ground dirt and asphalt?
Yeah, I disagree with this a lot. In fact, I think sometimes people, like especially with beef, I think people get nuts with like the grade of beef that it's not that big of a deal. You should not pay that much more money for it. Like I'm for like grass fed, organic, like all that's great.
If you can guarantee me they're going to cook it medium, I'll take the.
Dude, you have had more battles with ordering steaks that come out just absolutely wrong than anyone I've ever seen.
So it was for Phoenix in that draft.
Yeah.
When we were with FanRag Sports, and that was probably 9 years ago now,
right?
No,
I think
that was the year you won the mock draft.
17. And dude, I remember that was like our first time really down there together. And it's like, you don't want to be like a weirdo and like complain about your food.
Right. So I get this thing they scooped up off the side of the road, bake it in the sun all day in Phoenix. And I think they just put it on a plate. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm having beef jerky for dinner. And then the Cracker Barrel steaks.
I have low expectations there,
Right. But if you told me that I could get medium on a Cracker Barrel steak, I would still take it before like some crazy high-end cut of meat that you're going to cook poorly for me.
All right, we're out on this take. Liam, is this real? Liam has a take on Liam Cohen. This is nuts. So we had a Carter on Carter. This is Liam on Liam. Liam Cohen returning to Tampa Bay will result in the Bucs having the #1 scoring offense in the NFC.
This is Liam Cohen. This is Liam Cohen's take.
You think he really did?
Yes, he did this take for himself. Get out of here, Liam.
Number one scoring offense in the NFC, the Bucs next year. We have so much to learn about these teams, but
I feel good about their running game. Certainly took a step.
Huge.
And Bucky Irving looks electric. They're a team that's always invested in the offensive line. They're a really good offensive line development program. Baker's going to be Baker. We assume Mike Evans is going to be back. Like, what does the rest of the pass catching group look like?
Dude, they were fourth in the NFL in scoring this year.
Mm-hmm.
This is not
4,500 yards for Baker Mayfield passing the ball.
Were they not? So the number ones. So Detroit, they were the number two. This is kind of a soft take. So Detroit and all their turnover.
Liam Cohen gave us a softball PR question.
Oh, you're going to hold off Washington and Philly? Yeah. I kind of expect them. We're going to break. Stick with us. We got more to get to on the other side of it. I love going to live events, whether it's sports, music, theater, or comedy. One of my favorite memories was attending a concert last year. The energy and the excitement were unforgettable. Now, Gametime has made it even easier to get tickets for your favorite events with their new feature, Gametime Picks. This feature filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Recently, I was looking for tickets to that concert using the Gametime app, and with Gametime Picks, I found amazing deals and could even see the view from my seat before buying. The super deal was particularly impressive, offering great seats at unbeatable prices. Plus, the app's all-in pricing shows the total cost up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL. That's LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? It's game time. Growing your small business in 2025 comes down to how well you can hire. And let's face it, better hires start with smarter insights. That's where LinkedIn comes in. With the strongest hiring data available, LinkedIn helps you identify the right candidates, giving you the confidence to make the best decisions for your business. I've used LinkedIn Jobs myself, and I can tell you it's a game changer when it comes to hiring the right fit. Small businesses are wearing a lot of hats, so every hire is crucial. LinkedIn gets that. That's why they connect you with the best candidates using data that you won't find anywhere else. From unique skills and interests to the connections you share, LinkedIn helps you find the right person for the job. In fact, 72% of small businesses say LinkedIn has helped them find high-quality candidates. I know from experience how important it is to make the right hiring decisions, and having access to insights like what skills candidates have or how they're connected to your network helps you feel confident when pulling the trigger. Hire smarter this year and find your next great hire on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
I almost did it. I almost hit the ad bumper after the game time read.
Yeah, I felt that. I honestly, I knew that was coming.
I'm like, oh.
Dude, I swear I knew that was coming. That's why I got into LinkedIn a little bit faster than I wanted to.
Thank you. Thank you. Because you saved us and you save yourself a cut because you're the one who does the editing on this program.
Right,
so
right.
You're welcome to you.
Michael says Tarheeb Still is the defensive rookie of the year nobody has heard of.
But he's not going to be defensive rookie of the year.
No, but I like the idea of like fostering a conversation about like underrated.
He was this year.
Yeah, he was really good. Dude, I think the corners this year that entered the NFL as rookies were really good. I think obviously Terrion Arnold, Quinyon Mitchell, Kamari Lassiter, Mikey Sanders still, but these slot corners like Tyke Smith, Jerrion Jones, Andrew Phillips, Tarheeb Still, like this is a nice batch of young corners that entered the NFL.
Hold on. Got to revisit my draft board here.
Yeah,
you ever do this?
Looked okay.
You ever go back and see? Because I do the horizontal draft board.
Mm-hmm.
Cornerbacks. I can tell you Tarheeb Still was not highly ranked by me.
I did not evaluate him.
So I did a grand total of 26 corners, which was a little light. It needed to be heavier. But I had 13 with first, second, and third round grades. And like Drew Phillips was not on there. So like I was down on Drew Phillips and shouldn't have been down on Drew Phillips, but Quinyon Mitchell, Terrion Arnold, Nate Wiggins,
was good this year.
and Mike Sanderstill, those 5 were all top 25 players on my board. They were Sanderstill was outstanding. I think he got snubbed a little bit. And I had Cooper DeJean at safety, so he's not even in this conversation.
Yeah. Any other like defensive rookie standouts that you wanted to mention? I really liked Omar Spates for the Rams. Speaking of player development, Tyrese Knight for Seattle, dude. Like what an answer he was.
He took over for like they brought in 3 separate guys to try to take that spot. I'm just being Tyrese Knight.
Yeah, he's 4th round pick out of UTEP. I think he might have been like the first player that was drafted this year that I wasn't familiar with, and leave it to Seattle to do that. And then this guy comes in, he winds up being an answer.
Right.
So here's an interesting one from Jack. The coaching disparity between the AFC finalists and the NFC finalists is greater than the quarterback disparity. I think this is crazy.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think it's true at all. This is just slander at Nick Sirianni is what this is.
Correct. It is. And if you put him on a board, Nick would be last on the list.
Right.
Now, they did a much better job. Did anybody have a better glow up with their coordinator situation on both sides of the ball than Philadelphia from last year to this year?
Oh, it was huge.
Right. So that's credit where, and you can really say a lot about Nick Sirianni. And like, I'm not crazy about Nick as a coach, but he does fit the personality of the city, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And the team then in turn takes on some of the personality of the city. And then I think you look at, Detroit with Dan Campbell and his personality and the personality of Detroit as a city. I appreciate that. But I think if I were looking at Dan Quinn, he's the anti every buzzy superlative you're looking for in a new head coaching hire, right? Everybody wants the next big thing, whiz kid, offensive genius, guy with personality. And Dan's like former head coach, defensive play caller. But I'll be darned if the Dan Quinn doesn't force you to kind of reassess how you go about like what you want for a head coaching hire for your football team. I don't know what will.
Right. And like, look at his recent success, dude. In 3 of his last 5 seasons as a head coach, he's won at least 1 playoff game. Yeah, I think people are sleeping on Dan Quinn.
Do we need to also remind everybody about the coaching staff he put together in Atlanta? You know who was on that staff?
Shanahan.
Okay, so yeah, Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator. Matt LaFleur and Mike LaFleur were both on the offensive staff. Mike McDaniel was on the offensive staff. Raheem Morris was the assistant head coach. Jeff Ulbrich was the linebackers coach. Marquand Manuel was on this coaching staff as another name. This was
pretty good.
Scangarello was the first year in 2015. Rich Scangarello, who's been around the block a couple of times, was on this coaching staff. And that was the first year of Dan Quinn, right? Yeah. And then when he lost Kyle Shanahan, he brought in Steve Sarkisian as his offensive coordinator in 2017. That knows how to build a staff, man.
Dan Quinn,
I
baby.
can build a staff, good accountability culture, good relationship with his players, good scheme, has been a head coach before. Like, some of these teams, I think, should apply some of that.
Right. All right, we'll finish with this one from Chris. Chris says, Aaron Brewer and Connor McGovern, that's the Bills center and the Dolphins center.
Aaron,
sorry. Are both top 10 centers in the NFL this season. Do the thing.
Okay, so I guess we're going to do the thing.
I've got all the centers listed. I got it.
Okay, so are we going to pause when there's a player that's better than both or better than one? I guess it would probably be better than one. Who do we think is the better center of these two players?
I think they're really good players for their respective teams. They do very different things. Let's just call them the same. Okay.
Okay.
David Andrews.
Not anymore.
Joe Tippmann, knocking on the door. He's not there yet, though.
He also regressed this year, I thought, versus last year.
Tyler Linderbaum. Okay,
Yeah.
There's one. Ted Karras, Ethan Pochik, Zach Frazier. No, so just one.
Frazier was really good, though.
He's good, but I'm not.
If Frazier does it again next year, I'd probably put him above these two guys if I'm being objective.
Not yet. Jarrett Patterson, Ryan Kelly was not really available. Mitch Morse, Lloyd Cushenberry was not really available this year. Luke Wattenberg, Creed Humphrey. Okay, there's one.
Yep.
Andre James, Bradley Bozeman.
I'll say Andre James.
Okay, we'll give it to him. Brock Huffman / Cooper Beebe, doesn't matter. John Michael Schmitz, Cam Jurgens. People really liked Cam Jurgens this year.
Do you want to be not stingy, the opposite of stingy, and give him Cam Jurgens?
Sure. Coleman, Shelton, no. Frank Ragnow, yes.
Yes.
Josh Myers, Garrett Bradbury. Nope. Okay, Drew Dahlman, he injured this year. Austin Corbett, Eric McCoy, I think.
Yes.
Eric McCoy. Graham Barton.
Was good, but I wouldn't put him in front of those other two guys.
Yelda Froholt, Bo Limmer, Jake Brendel, Olu Oluwatami.
Okay, so right now we're at 6, which would mean these two names in question are 7, 8. We glossed over Ryan Kelly. If Ryan Kelly's healthy, maybe.
Yeah.
Or if Ryan Kelly's healthy and like the age thing is not the point of no return, I would say yes.
Right. The qualifier was top 10. I think it's true.
I think this is a factual statement by a narrow margin. So there you go.
We can unite over having good centers that were free agent signings on value deals.
Joe, the next time you talk to me, I will be in Dallas for real. And then the time after that you talk to me, I'll be in Mobile. So
I mean, I think there's the big assumption that I'm not going to talk to you again until Monday.
I mean, on the show.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, the next programming note that we're on.
I got it. I leave you alone. Got it. Loud and clear, Kyle.
So don't talk to me. Not interested. I want to have my week.
Yeah, I definitely won't be interested in you, perusing the NFL world and, picking up things that you might have to say.
You'll hear plenty from me. Don't worry. And I'll see what I can bring to the show and bring some value to the program as well. That's going to do it for us here. I'm Kyle Crabbs. He's Joe Marino. Appreciate you guys as always. Check out the show. Enjoy the conference championship weekend that awaits. And we'll talk to you on Monday.